The day started like any other. Everything was boring, mundane even. I just kept on going. However, something would change, as suddenly I would hear strange noises. It was at night, so I didn't think too much of it. But as I got up, I would look at the bed and see my body. What happened? I didn't know. I would try to touch it, try to wake myself up. I thought it was some sort of dream or out-of-body experience, but then I heard a footstep, and a weird black figure appeared in front of me. As it said, "That's too bad. You want another chance at life?" I would look at this shadowy figure and say, "Another chance? Why? Well, I guess my life wasn't the best, but..." "Wait, what? Does that mean I'm dead?" They would nod. "You died of a heart attack in your sleep. You should eat healthier. Not that it matters now. However, you're quite a fan of the Has-Been show, yes?" "Yeah? How would you like to come back as the main character, Charlie? Does that mean I'll be a girl?" The shadowy figure said, "Yeah. You have a problem with that?" I would say, "Honestly, no. I've always wondered..." "Alright, I don't care what you've always wondered." As suddenly it snapped its fingers, and I woke up, and I was Charlie. I looked down at my hands, and I looked to my side to see Vaggie. As I was so shocked, I screamed as she woke up and said, What's wrong?" I said, it's nothing." As she said, "Alright, did you have a bad dream and you're nervous about it like last time?" I would nod and say, "Yeah, I had a bad dream, that's all." As then I laid in bed. I waited for her to go to sleep, as then I left. I was in my pajamas as I looked around. I couldn't believe it. I had all these feelings, all these emotions. I was never a heartless person, but I was kind of numb when it came to feeling for people, when it came to caring about people. But now, all these emotions rushing inside me. All these feelings. I cared about Angel. I cared about everyone around me. I would even care about random people I just saw. It was overwhelming. As I walked over, Husk looked at me. Well, you're up early." I would say, "Why are you at the bar this soon?" "Huh, honestly, I can't sleep sometimes, so I just stay here. I know no one's gonna come to drink here, unless you want to," he said, joking, as Charlie didn't drink, but I said, "Sure, I'll drink." "Wait, what? You drink? I mean, you drink every once in a while, but never heavily at a bar." Don't worry about it." As I sat down, I started to talk with Husk. We started to get along. Husk would say, "There's something different about you tonight." As I looked at him, I said, "Yeah, you're loosening up, becoming more fun. I like it." I would say, "Thank you, Husk." Husk would say, "No problem. Wait, I know what it is now. It all makes sense." I looked at Husk. I knew there was no way he could know, right? Or was it? I didn't even know if this was real. Maybe it was some sort of dream. I don't know. As I continued to stare at him, I simply continued to look until Husk would speak. "Well, I get it. Tomorrow is your meeting, so you're getting quite nervous." I would say, "Nervous? Meeting? Oh, it's nothing to be ashamed of, princess." He would laugh. You're meeting with the extermination crew." I would then realize something. This was a day before the first episode. I could do a lot here. I could really change things, but what was going to happen? How would people react to me? How would people like me? I didn't want to ruin their lives, assuming this was real. As I looked at Husk and said, "Really? Yeah. Take the time to relax. Tomorrow's a big day." So I did. I got used to things. I would talk to Angel, I would talk to Husk, I would talk to Alistair. I didn't talk too much. After all, I didn't want to give away my cover, but things definitely did seem interesting, and it seemed like I could learn something. As then I had to get a plan on what was due for the meeting. After all, no matter what I said, I don't think Adam would agree with me. So if he won't agree, I'll just have to make him scared. After all, he makes tons of other people scared. He makes us tremble in fear. But part of me didn't want to do it. Part of me wanted to try to reach into his humanity. And that wasn't me, that was Charlie. Even though he's done awful things, and even though I know he'll do awful things, deep down, part of me wants to think he'll change. But I know for a fact that that won't happen. I know for a fact that that will just ruin things. So I go for my fear tactic. As the episode plays like normal, I sing the song and do everything to make sure people aren't suspicious, but then I walk to Adam, and this time I have a plan. As Adam does his normal routine, I look at him and say, "So, you're the first man on Earth. Tell me, do you feel fear? Were you scared when you ate that apple? Were you scared when the boss came down on you?" Adam said, "Scared? That's none of your business. Besides, it's not my fault. Eve tricked me. It's all her fault. Without that, we would all be living in paradise, and this place wouldn't exist. But oh well, that's women for you. Why do you ask, though?" I would walk closer and closer and closer to Adam, as then Lute would stop me. "Step any closer and there'll be a problem." I would say, "Fine. I just wanted to tell you something very personal." Adam would say, "What, you fell in love with me? I mean, I get it. Chicks dig me. And you are quite attractive, but we can't really date. However, I think we can." I would say, "No. I know that one of your angels perished." As they both looked pale. "How did you know that? Did you do it?" "No. It was an overlord. A sinner." "That's right. They're figuring out how to do it. And soon, when you try to exterminate, they'll just push you back. Every day we get sinners, and they only get more and more and more powerful as time goes on, as they learn how to master their power. Heck, Alistair is powerful enough to push you to 80%. Adam said, "Impossible." "No, it is quite possible. They just don't fight back because they're scared, because they think you're so much stronger, so much more powerful. However, let me tell you this. You're not. And when that day comes, we'll just push you back and wipe away everything. However, if you stop this whole extermination process, you might be able to survive." Adam would say, Are you threatening me?" I would laugh and say, "Of course not. I'm merely speaking the truth. So why don't you just go back to heaven and stop with all this extermination nonsense? Maybe you can actually get along if you did something like that. And not, I don't know, have something bad happen to you." Adam would then yell obscenities at me. "I am strong. You know, no one can defeat me, especially not from that little pathetic place. You try to make it seem like I'm a scared little wimp. You try to make me scared so I don't go after your friends and family. Please, I would simply laugh and say, "Whatever helps you cope," as I simply walked off. Adam would say, "I'm not done yelling at you," as he would fly off. He would see that I was gone. This made him mad. As he walked back in, Lute would say, "What about now, sir?" "Well, we go in as planned. This was some big bluff. I'm not gonna lie. She would have had me sweating if I was weaker." Adam said, "Sweating, but I'm not." "Huh. We'll continue with the plan. Besides, she can't get involved, or the contracts you'll void, but I hope she does, because I'd love to exterminate her too." As then we cut to me as I walk into the hotel. As Angel says, "How'd it go?" I would simply say, "Well, it went better than expected. However, extermination will be moved up a bit." As they said, "What? Then how is it better?" "You'll see," I simply said. "I think he, had a change of heart. He stuttered one of the words like he felt bad." As I tried to act like Charlie, they all sighed. As Vaggie says, "That's so sweet, Charlie, but, I don't think that's a good sign." As then, what to do today? Everything should be quite interesting. As then someone opened the door. It was Sir Pentious. He said he wanted to enter the hotel, but then I got an idea. A spy. So, I had an idea. As we all let Sir Pentious in, he would do his normal thing like in canon, but I would then go to talk to him alone. "So, Sir Pentious, could I ask you a question?" "Yes, Madam Princess? I then looked at the watch and I whispered something. I want you to be a double agent. He looked at me and he wanted to scream, but I said, don't scream or I'll use my magic. He then started to turn the volume off on the watch, as then he looked right at me. Why do you want me to be a double agent? Well, because you have potential, and you could lead them into a trap, and if you do that, I then looked at as my eyes turned red, I'll spare you. I would never hurt Sir Pentious, though. My moral code won't let me do it. However, he didn't know that. As Sir Pentious would agree, I would then start to feed him information, as then they would feed the V's false information, like about secret places Alistair hide stuff, and secrets to his power which aren't true, and stuff like that. Basically to keep Vox and the rest entertained, and to keep them off our trails. It was quite ingenious, in fact, and it also helped us bond to share this little secret between us. And as the days went on, Sir Pentious was actually starting to change. However, Vaggie would demand he get rid of his egg boys like in canon, but this time I had something else in mind. As I walked up and said, don't do that, Vaggie would say, what? What do you mean? They're evil henchmen. They're not evil. Look how cute they are. Come on, they're the egg boys. You can't get rid of his sweet egg boys. That's just cruel. Vaggie would say, it's cruel to have them all be servants. You know that, right? That's kind of messed up that Sir Pentious would say, please, as he would look at her and give her puppy dog eyes, as she would say, fine. Yay, I get to keep my egg boys. I get to keep my egg boys. And then I walked over to Alistair. So, you're going to an Overlord meeting, correct? Alistair would say, how do you know such a thing? I would simply smirk and say, well, I have my ways. Anyway, I think it would be best if I went along with you. After all, having the princess on your side can be quite a flex, and I think I want to know about Overlord politics since I am half sinner. Alistair would say, are you crazy? I don't think. I would simply look at him and say, please, trust me. There's stuff in it for both of us. Alistair would sigh and let me go along. As we were walking, suddenly Gestial would show up. Gestial would look at me and Alistair and say, hello. So you're walking with the princess? Interesting. Oh my, are you two a thing? Is that why you were gone? Planning some sort of coup d'etat with the princess herself? Alistair would say, no. I would say, he's not my type. Although, I would know why you would think that. After all, he is quite handsome. Gestial would say, so then why are you here? Understanding Overlord politics. Besides, it's part of my grand plan that I help you guys with something. Don't worry, it won't put any of you in danger. I promise, a royal promise. If that means anything, at least. I hope it does. Alright, Gestial would say. As then we would go up to the meeting. Everything would happen normally, but I would be there. As everyone there looked right at me. Tensions were high. Everyone was confused why I was there. However, they didn't question it since I was the princess. And seeing that I went Alistair in the shady part, maybe this whole hotel was a front for something darker. Maybe the whole being nice was just an act. They didn't know. Suddenly, Velvet would walk in and throw the exorcist down like in canon. As then I took a picture with my phone. As then I smirked. As Velvet walked in. Well, Princess is here. It doesn't really matter. I think you'll like to see this. As suddenly she looked at the exorcist. We did it. We destroyed an exorcist. One of them perished. Do you know what this means? This means we can all fight back. Camilla Carmine hated this idea, as she got up and began to talk back about it, saying, we don't even know it was one of us. As I looked and says it was, and it was Camilla Carmine. She's the one who wiped out the angel, and she doesn't want anyone to know about it because she doesn't want a war. The Bree brought right down on her, as everyone looked at me, confused on how I knew this. As Camilla Carmine yelled, how do you know this? Why bring it up? Why say such a thing? Calm down. Don't you see? Now we can defend ourselves and push back. They'll be scared of us, and they won't want to come back and fight now, once they see what we're capable of. After all, if they keep poking the bear's gonna bite back, and they won't like its claws. They become weak and arrogant, and I think we can all fight back. I think we can all do it. Push them back once and for all. Every single one of us. Show them how powerful we are. After all, we'll be like legends once we defeat these angels. Everyone will hear about it, and I know how to destroy them personally. As they all looked at me, Velvet said, "Huh, I always thought you were lame. However, this sounds kind of fun. Maybe I misjudged you." You still need better fashion, though. As then, Camilla Carmine says, "Do you know how to destroy an angel?" "Yes, angelic weapons, and you have them. I demand you give it to us." After all, I think, "You demand? I'm the one who called this meeting. This meeting's off." As I said, "Oh no. As Princess of Hell, I declare this meeting is far from off." As I looked at her straight in the face, and she looked at me, Celestial and Alistair were shocked. Celestial was ready to defend Camilla Carmine. However, literally all the other overlords were on my side, so doing so publicly might be a death sentence right now, so we waited that one out. As Camilla Carmine looked around, no one willing to defend her. She could try to fight back with her angelic weapons, however, with so far outnumbered, we could easily just steal some and fight her back with them. So, with no other choice, she took a deep sigh. "Fine, but I do not support this. This will destroy everything we've built. However, I will fund this war. I just hope the end times do not come from it." The end times from the Bible? I didn't think about that. However, I'll make sure to fight defensively. After all, I am the princess, and I am the face of this movement. Little did I know, though, the V's wanted to steal that out from under me. They wanted to become the face of the movement themselves. After all, who do they like more, royalty stepping in their way, or fellow sinners? However, for now, they'll go along with me, and go along with my plan. As we all walked out, Alistair was walking with me and said, "That was a surprise. So, what will you do to stop me from telling the rest?" I'm sure they'll be happy to know I'm defending the hotel. However, I'm not doing over the greatest of reasons. And the way I threaten Camilla Carmine is not the best. I assume that's what you're going to tell them, besides me gathering up everyone. Alistair would say, "Yeah. So how are you going to stop me? By offering you freedom." Trust me, you want to be free, don't you? Well, if you can be truly free, then you'll join me, won't you? Alistair would then look and say, "Yeah, but how did you—" "Oh, I know more than you think." As I walked off, Alistair was actually kind of scared, but he had to go along with this if he wanted his freedom. Even the promise of that, even if it didn't have any merit itself, was enough to keep him going. As then, we cut to Sir Pentious. As I walked in on him, he would look at me and say, "Yes, madam, I have an order for you. Cut off your contact. It's time we work intensely on your redemption." My plan was to destroy them, absolutely destroy every exorcist, then have Sir Pentious lose at the same time and go to heaven. With the sinner being redeemed and the exorcist being wiped out, it means that heaven could not invade us anymore, and that we could invade them anytime we wanted. It will spark fear and controversy all across heaven, and will make them too scared to try anything. At least that's the plan. After I talked to Sir Pentious, I walked out and hugged Vaggie, as Vaggie hugged me back. As we both said "I love you" and kissed her. I may be different, I may not be Charlie, but I do feel one thing: she was quite beautiful, and I was enjoying her, and my army of overlords were gonna go amazingly. I knew that Adam was no threat to me. However, one day, something would happen. As I was sitting in the hotel, someone would bust open the door. "Knock, knock. Charlie, I heard you're causing a little bit of commotion, and, your girlfriend wanted me to talk to you." My, "Vaggie, what is this about?" I was shocked. Vaggie said, "Well, I'm glad that you took my advice and all, and gathered some people to fight the angels, but you've been acting differently lately. I still love you, but it's like you're almost a different person." I was shocked. As I looked into Lucifer's eyes, what if he realizes the truth? What will he do to me? What will happen? As in Lucifer said, I know what it is. As my heart sank, Lucifer then hugged me. You missed me, didn't you? Don't worry, we're gonna have a family night out. I would then giggle and say, all right. It was actually quite fun, and I got along with Vaggie. I was extremely nice to Vaggie and the others, but I was just acting more serious than normal, and they were worried that I was sad or something, so Lucifer took me out for dinner and wanted to spend time with me, but Lucifer also had an ulterior motive. He was lonely. He wanted an excuse to hang out with me. That was the real reason he went. As Lucifer and I talked, me and Vaggie would also talk, and we all had a great time. Meanwhile, we cut to the V's. As Vox was talking to Val, Vox would say, with this whole alliance thing, it gains us an opportunity to get some spotlight. After all, if they see us fight heroically and stop Adam, we could be the ones who become famous. Val would say, yes, I concur. So what is your plan, good looking? Vox and Val would sing a song as they have to be the one to defeat Adam, and that only they will be the ones to do it. However, how should they do that? How can they defeat him? Suddenly, Velvet started to laugh. Well, Adam looks online a lot. How do you know that? He has a profile here. I mean, no one knows, supposedly, quote unquote, knows that he's Adam, but it's kind of obvious. He talks a lot like him. Wait, he has a profile on HellTube. Why? Because he likes talking crap to people he doesn't like. And there's a lot of people he doesn't like here. If we start to post stuff about him, he'll see it and go straight through us to the battle. It'll be like setting up a trap. Vox and Val looked at each other as they laughed. This will be perfect. As then they started to set up accounts where they would talk crap about Adam and the exterminators to make them look weak. Meanwhile, we cut to Adam, who was looking on HellTube on his alt account, and spit out his drink. Lute, can you believe this S-word? Lute would look and say, really, sir? Really? This is what you're concerned about? Some demons saying potty words about you. Lute, it's more than that. They don't respect me anymore. They're not scared of me anymore. Lute would then roll her eyes. They're trying to make you scared, Adam. They're trying to make you fear them. They know about your stupid alt account because of the way you've been typing, and they're just trying to get you riled up. Adam would say, no one knows about my alt account. I am excellent at keeping my account a secret. They obviously don't fear me anymore. Well, I'm going to make them pay. I'm going to go after them first. Lute would say, but that's what they... No, Lute, don't make up some sort of lie to keep me in check. Besides, I can easily take care of them. No problem. As then Adam started to laugh. As that was going on, we cut to Sir Pentious. As Sir Pentious began to call Vox, Vox would say, what is it? Sir Pentious would say, I'm going to have to cancel the Spied deal. You see, I told Sir Pentious to cancel it because if he wants to get redeemed, he's going to have to be nice. And I need Sir Pentious to be destroyed and get redeemed. For an ultimate victory, I would have to defeat Adam, defeat Lute, defeat all the exorcists, crush them, and send a redeemed soul. That way, heaven will think twice about even acting against us. Because if they did, we would have members up there. So, as Sir Pentious told Vox this, Vox began to scream, yell, and cuss, saying, I will destroy you! I will obliterate you! But then Sir Pentious said, I'm not scared of you. You're nothing but a 2-bit TV. As then he hanged up. Vox continued to scream, as Val said, calm down. Anger doesn't make you look too hot, you know. As then we cut to me. I was training with Vaggie. Me and Vaggie were fighting each other, sparring. As I knew I needed to get stronger, Vaggie said, what's got into? If we're going to fight Adam, we need to get stronger. I need to get stronger to protect everyone. I keep having dreams about everyone getting wiped out by him. I know he's going to go against the contract and attack me. My hotel goes against what he stands for. I need to do this. Vaggie sighed and said, you're right, but I didn't think you would take things so seriously. All right, come at me with everything you got. I nodded as horns started to go through my head, as wings started to appear. I went into my demonic state. As I lunged straight at Vaggie with all of my might, all of my speed, all of my force. As then, Vaggie was barely able to block it. Even when she did, she fell to the floor. As I said, "Oh, are you all right? I'm sorry, I got carried away." Vaggie said, "No, no, 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 it's fine. You showed me great strength. Now let me show you mine." As Vaggie would charge at me with this spear, as I would begin to dodge it, we would spar against each other and fight this way. Barely any people trained in has-been. If you were royalty, you were seen as extremely powerful, extremely strong, no need to train. And the exorcists thought they were superior to everyone, and well, Charlie didn't like to fight, and Vaggie was trying to get rid of her exorcist past, so even though we knew how to fight, we never really got into it. However, this was the exception. I needed to fully master my power to fight back. As then we trained, our bodies began to touch each other. We began to sweat more and more, as then we, well, took a break to have a more intimate moment. As then we cut to the next day, I would wake up in bed as I would see a dark figure again. "Well, you're getting really good at using that female body in interesting ways." The dark figure would then laugh. "No, I knew putting you here would be entertaining, but I didn't think it would be this entertaining." As I got up, everything was frozen, even Vaggie. It seemed like time itself was frozen. All I could do was stare into this dark figure. As I said, "Who are you anyway?" My kind don't have names, but you can call me Jinx. Because I do often jinx people." "What do you mean by that?" "It doesn't matter. Anyway, I've been following your progress, and I think it's going very well. However, I don't know if you're really doing this right. I didn't expect you to go all this way." I would then say, What do you mean by that?" "I mean, most people, given your position, would just nerd out and have a good time. And you already win the battle anyway, so you don't really need to change anything. But you want total and utter victory. Interesting. Your life, you didn't really do any fighting, so I assume that you were just going to enjoy yourself. It appears that I'm wrong." "Well, I guess you did enjoy yourself, just not in the way I expected." The shadow would then point to Vaggie still in the bed, as it began to laugh. I then began to blush. "Well, I don't know about that. And most people would miss their families by now, but I guess you're too busy having fun, enjoying your new body parts to do that." As he started to laugh more, I said, "Just get out." "Fine. But, if you ever want to get out of here, or just talk to me, just say the name Jinx." As suddenly he would disappear. As Vaggie would get up, "Charlie, what are you doing up so early?" She yawned. I would look back at her as she laid in bed. Nothing. Just..." I would smile and as I got back in bed. "I love you, Vaggie. I love you too, Charlie. I think you and I are going to be all right." Vaggie said, "Yeah, I think so too." As then we both smiled and I kissed her. As we looked at each other, we gleamed happily. As then I got dressed and walked down. It was time for another beautiful day in hell. As I started to sing, suddenly Husk would say, "Can you be quiet? I'm having a hangover over here. Can you not sing at 8 in the morning?" I looked at him and said, "Sorry," as then I started to giggle. Alistair would say, "Husk is a bit of a grump, isn't he?" "Yeah, he is. There, Charlie. I can tell you're making real progress with this hotel and your war plan. Congratulations. However, I do wonder how long it will take." I say, "How long for what?" "How long? Until everything you have is destroyed, darling." I asked him what my plans. Besides Jinx. Jinx is an anomaly for me, but I decided to ignore it. As soon, I was going to have another meeting with Adam. But before then, I decided to go on a little trip, have my own little crossover, if you will. I thought it would be fun, but I knew that if I did it myself, that could cause some problems, so I decided to send someone else. I paid someone, a messenger, to go message Blitz. Yes, I would message the I.M.P game, because it would be fun to have a crossover. As Blitz came back from a job, suddenly he would hear a knock on the door. He would say, "What is it?" as an imp came in. He would simply put down a contract. "There's a mercenary job. The owner says they know you don't do this kind of work normally, so you'll get paid 3 times more." Blitz considered it. After all, he didn't really like mercenary work, but, it's 3 times more, so he signed the contract and decided to do it. As he decided to help us. As then he left, I was thrilled. I was thrilled to know my own little crossover will happen. As then I was packing up my bags and getting ready to see Adam. It would be so fun to scare him. It would be so fun to see the fear in his little eyes. I could almost giggle from it. However, at the same time, I started to feel bad. Charlie's emotions started to kick into me. I wasn't really a bad person, but I take things too far, and it seemed like Charlie was trying to stop that. As I have these mixed emotions, Vaggie would walk up to me and say, "Are you ready?" I would simply say, yeah, I'm ready. As then, I went up to heaven to visit the angels. Since, my dad got me this visit, I was so excited to see how things were going to play out, since Adam was so scared. And he did deserve it, considering his evil ways, but knowing what he's going to do now, maybe I could stop him. Maybe I could use my charm and actually use fear at the same time to stop Adam from going down. But no, that's stupid, I thought. As I went up there, things would play out normally like in canon. As this time, Adam would talk, more fiercely to me. Lute would stay behind and talk to Vaggie, as Adam wanted one-on-one time with me, since I threatened him in this timeline. Adam and I would walk side by side as Adam looked at me. Charlie, this little thing you're doing here, I'm not gonna lie, it did scare me a little bit. You B-word. However, I'm not scared anymore. You see, I've grown beyond your stupid little games. I understand how to go against it. I understand that you have no way of destroying me. It was all nothing but a bluff. Adam would say this proudly, showing his arrogance even more, that he's doubled down on himself, that instead of proving himself, he decided to double down all the toxic parts about himself, believing that he was invincible. I would simply look at Adam and say, "Do you really believe that?" Adam would say, "Of course I do, you pathetic girl. I am the mighty Adam. I can take down anything you throw in my way. Also, that little girlfriend of yours, she's not who she says she is." I knew exactly what he was talking about. I could pretend to be upset with her to, try to fool Adam. Or I could straight up tell him that it's not going to work. But would that be too suspicious if I knew? I didn't know what to say as I simply pondered this. Adam said, "Oh, did cat get your tongue? Do you not know the secret about your girlfriend?" Whatever her secret is, she has a right to have it. Besides, I know she loves me and that's all I need to know. Adam would say, "Tch, ask her about the lives she took, and we'll see if you feel the same." As Adam simply smirked and walked off, I sighed. Adam was so immature. As then we cut to Vaggie and Lute. As we cut to Lute and Vaggie, Lute would look at Vaggie. "So, are you scared we're going to tell your little girlfriend what's going on? And tell her what kind of a person you truly are, and the things you have done?" Vaggie would sigh and look down. "Listen, I don't care what you tell her, alright? I'm not going to betray her dream. Really? Even if I told her you were a murderer?" Vaggie was shocked. She didn't know what to do. Lute then leaned up closer to her face. I could tell her everything. Or maybe she wouldn't care after all. She's just like you. What do you mean? She threatened Adam, threatened that he would be wiped out. Charlie would never do that, Vaggie would say. Sadly, Lute didn't record it, but she said she has been acting strangely, hasn't she? Haven't you wondered why? As Vaggie would say, "Yeah? Seems like you haven't figured it out yet. Maybe your little girlfriend isn't the girl she thinks she is, or that she pretends to be." As Lute walked out, Vaggie would think about this, but she would reject this idea, as it seemed like she was just messing with her. As Lute walked out, she was trying to use mental warfare. After all, it seemed like Vaggie and Charlie had some sort of a rift that she wanted to use. Meanwhile, I would walk back to the judgment with Vaggie, but Vaggie looked down, as I thought I knew why, but it turns out I didn't. As then I would summon Angel to be looked at, to show everyone else what was going on, to show that redemption is possible. As then we cut to Angel, we all would begin to watch Angel, and watch him at the club, and see what he was doing. As Adam would make 3 reasons why to get to heaven,
Eventually, Angel would pass each one. As I would look at him, seems like you're scared, Adam. If some of us start getting into heaven, then well, your little job will be useless. Emily would say, what are you talking about? Sarah would say, don't worry about it, Charlie. Please do not bring up the... As then, I looked, as I pretended to be shocked that they didn't know. But then, Adam would let out his big mouth and reveal everything anyway. As they were all shocked that they would do such a thing, I was gonna play into it and threaten them, but Vaggie looked at me. Charlie, maybe Lute was right. Maybe you're not as kind as before. It makes you wonder, would you even accept me? Or would you be fine with the things that I've done? I would say, what are you talking about? Lute would laugh, as Vaggie would tell me what she did. I already knew, but I didn't expect her to react like this, as she ran off. It seemed like I was going to have to change as a person if I wanted Vaggie. All of this came together. All of this hit me. I didn't mean to lose her.
As the meeting ended, I went back to the hotel as Vaggie was packing up her things. Vaggie, why are you doing this? You've been different lately, Charlie. And the way you threatened Adam, he deserved it, but it's almost like you're not yourself. Besides, she was right technically, but I still had Charlie's emotions, but I still had Charlie's feelings. I didn't know what to do, but I knew what Charlie would do. As I simply laid back and let Charlie's feelings take over. As then I sang a song about our love. I sang a song about how much I should care about her, about how much she means to me. And I wish I could sing on this video, but I'm not really good at singing songs, and I would have to do a whole production and stuff, and yeah, I can't do that for a what if video. I hope you understand. Anyway, I would sing a song for her. I would sing a song to let us know how much we care, to let us know how much I care. As Vaggie smiled and kissed me, I love you. I would say I love you too, Vaggie. As we both stared into each other's eyes. I would say, I'm sorry I haven't been there as much. Let's go on a date. Like we used to. Vaggie would say, I like that. But what about the battle? I know it's coming up, but we'll be ready. Besides, I've been ready for a while. Vaggie says, yeah, you have. As then, me and Vaggie would go out on a date. I would take her out to dinner as we would eat and talk, and I would listen to her, truly listen. And it felt nice. It felt nice to be with her. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't truly love her. Charlie did, and Charlie was a part of me, but her emotions seemed different from me. I found her attractive, but that love wasn't there. But now, I don't know. It felt so different. It felt like I could care for her. It felt like I could love her. It just felt like she could be with me. As I smiled, I held her hand. As I looked right at Vaggie, as I said, I love you. She said, I love you too, as then we kissed. It felt so magical. The nice kiss on her lips. It felt amazing. As then I got up and sighed, as I knew the battle was coming up soon.
As I started to think about everything I could gain, everything I could lose from this battle, and what could happen next. I didn't know the future, and, well, the only thing I knew I wanted was to be with Vaggie, and to protect my hotel. Maybe I had ambitions at first, and maybe I still do, but the most important thing is protecting Charlie's dream, and even more importantly, protecting her girl.
Ready to prepare for this attack. As me and the others were getting ready, I had to talk to Sir Pentious. You see, Alistair, Valentino, Vox, and many of the other overlords were hiding under the sewers. As the angels would attack, they would then come up and attack them from behind. As they surround us, they'll again attack from behind. Then we'll charge in front and surround them. It was foolproof. However, I needed Sir Pentious to be destroyed so he can go to heaven for a true victory. As I went to Sir Pentious, I began to talk to him. So, Sir Pentious, well, we're all doing this. Why don't you lay air support with your giant air machine? He said, isn't that dangerous, Charlie? It is, but with all the commotion, I'm sure they won't notice at first. You'll at least be able to get in a good strike. He says, very well. I will lead the command. As I smiled, as then we all began to talk. As we knew tomorrow might be our last day alive. Our lives depended on this battle, and even though I knew Adam was arrogant, even though I knew we were going to win, I didn't know who we were going to lose, and well, that's what scared me the most about it. As we all sat down together, Angel, Vaggie would all look at me, as Vaggie would say, hun, I'm proud of you for what you've done, and I think we can do this. As I said, I know we can. Angel would look at me and say, Charlie, thank you for letting me in. Even if we fail, at least we had a good time together. As in Nifty says, we're all gonna die! As in we all laughed awkwardly. As the day passed, the battle was gonna happen, as Adam went through a portal and began his attack. As Adam and his army came down, he began to attack the hotel. As we were completely surrounded, it seemed hopeless. However, Adam didn't know our trick, as suddenly sinners, overlords, and everyone started to come up from behind and attack them. They were completely shocked, as in they were pinchered from both directions. Even though they could fly, the attack still came from above too, since the overlords had special powers. Adam was going to have to get rid of these overlords quickly if he wanted any chance of winning. As Adam flew right straight towards Valentino, because he's the one who said all that stuff about him, but Val planned all of this. As suddenly, Vox would use his powers to electrocute Adam, and then Alistair would show up. Alistair, Val, and Vox would all surround them, fighting them 3-on-1. And Alistair was able to hold his own before Adam used part of his power. We don't know the exact percent of his power used, but I'm assuming it's nowhere near his actual, all out. However, considering there's 3 of them, I do believe they could hold their own, at least for a little while. Alistair would then say, wow, I can't believe you're being beat by a TV. Adam would say, shut up, as suddenly he would summon his guitar and make it bigger. Then he would swing it, breaking all of their powers destroyed instantly. Alistair lost his cane. Vox's TV screen was cracked, and Val's clothes started to become cracked as well. As they all fell down, he said, I'm going to get rid of all of you right here, right now. But suddenly, a blimp flew right above him. He was able to blast that away, but that distracted him enough for all the others to get away. As Adam looked around, he saw his warriors taken apart piece by piece. He saw them being destroyed, as they were all being wiped out. As suddenly, Adam would then get mad as he flew right towards me. Charlie, I don't know what kind of crap you're pulling, but you need to knock it the F off. Do you really actually think that you could stand a chance against me? This is pathetic. I look at him and say, are you scared? Your army's gonna go. I don't need an army. All I need is me. As then we started to battle each other. However, this time I actually fought and harnessed my potential. So this was actually good for me to fight. As then, me and Adam went at it. As I hit him with every single thing I got, every inch of power, every inch of strength I could possibly muster against Adam. As Adam fought me back, I felt his angelic powers pushing against me. His angelic powers going against my demonic ones. And in our timeline, Charlie really got well. She didn't do too well against Adam because she didn't know how to fight because of her kind ways. But here, with my ways and my training, I've become a lot stronger. I was able to keep up with Adam and even push him back several times. As Adam would start to yell, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. You could just lay back, you a-hole. You could just let me do the extermination, but instead you try to redeem people. Why? I'll tell you why, Adam. Because these are my people, and they'll be saved by me. As then I pushed Adam to 100% of his power, as then he started to win. Even though I've been training, even though I'm more vicious than Charlie, and even though I had way more potential than Adam, I still hadn't had enough time of fighting. After all, Adam goes down to exterminate sinners all the time. However, Adam had to go all out to beat me, and he knows that I'm too much of a threat, so he had to end everything, end my existence right here and now. As he slowly walked towards me, I actually felt fear. My heart began to beat out of my chest, not for love like usual in Charlie's body, but for fear, anguish, and terror. As he slowly walked closer and closer and closer, it seemed like everything was over. But then, something happened. Suddenly, Lucifer would appear.
Ahem. How about you leave my daughter the F alone, or I'm going to F you? Everyone was shocked. As Val said, well, this has got interested. Adam said, wait, what now? I giggled and said, I didn't know you swung that way, Dad. Swung what way? Suddenly, Adam would just punch Lucifer and the fight would start. And Lucifer would start to whoop Adam's butt, since he was so much stronger and had so much more experience than him. As the battle continued, Adam got more and more frustrated, as Lucifer would simply throw him down to the ground. Leave, Adam, and never come back. Adam would say, F you, it's not supposed to be like this. I was supposed to win. I was supposed to purify heaven. I was supposed to. Suddenly, Vox would then take out Adam with an angelic knife when everyone was distracted. As Velvet recorded it, he said, yes, I did it. Now that will go great. As Valentino and Vox started to dance together happily, and Angel smiled. Val was, well, not a good person, especially to Angel, but it was interesting to see this side of him, just to dance along so happily, so innocently. If you forgot he was an abusive, terrible person, you might actually like the dance. Angel then looked away, sighing, as I walked up to him and said, what's wrong? As Val and Vox left, Angel said, I'm glad we did this, Charlie. I really am. We needed to stand up to them, but the fact that they got the last laugh and we didn't, the fact that Val managed to prove how great he was with his boy toy, really, Lucifer would say, hey, we all won. That's the important part. As in we smiled, but then I looked up and I sighed as I pretended not to know that, Sir Pentious was in heaven, and we sung that song like a canon. As all that was going on, we cut to Sir Pentious, who, of course, made it to heaven. But this time, let's see what happens after he made it to heaven, shall we? Sarah said, oh my god. As Emily smiled, oh my god, he made it to heaven, he made it to heaven! This has never happened before! Sarah would say, it shouldn't have happened. This must be a mistake. Emily would say, mistakes don't happen when people go to heaven, Sarah. Come on. Let's be happy. He's in heaven. Sir Pentious would say, where's my egg boys? Your what now? Emily would say, my egg boys. I want them. Sir Pentious would talk to Emily and Sarah, as they didn't know what he meant by that. Egg boys. What did that mean? They went to Sir Peter, as St. Peter went, I don't know what he's talking about either. That's a reference to a comic, if you did not know that. St. Peter would be confused about these egg boys, and he wouldn't really be able to find where they were or what was happening with them. Meanwhile, we cut to the V's, as Vox, Val, and Velvet were all sitting down. As Vox said, so, we did it. He's gone, and we're gonna be the ones who took down Adam, and everyone will know about us. People will be flocking to our business. That's true, but do you not see the bigger picture there, Vox? Vox would say, Val, you never talked to me like that. What do you mean? Vox was confused. Usually he was the one who came up with the plans, and Valentino just went with it. He wasn't stupid. He was good at manipulating, tricking people, but he didn't come up with plans like this. Val then looked at Vox and said, we may have won the battle, but Charlie will become more popular from this victory. After all, she's the one that gathered us all together. And the way she fought Adam, she showed she could fight. We may have defeated Adam, but our new enemy is Charlie. And when it does, everyone will want to get redeemed. And no one will, well, I guess a few people want to do crime, but a lot of people won't. A lot of people want to try to get to heaven. But that will mean a lot of the big crime families will lose business. So I had to be careful. I knew I was going to be a target from them. Meanwhile, we cut to the V's, as Vox and Val were sitting together. They were quite pleased with the battle also. Everyone knew that they helped, and they got a lot of business because of that. However, I was the one who led the front, and I was the one who stopped Adam. Sure, I might not have been the one to take the final blow, but Adam is still gone because of me, and everyone knew that. Vox and Val would be sitting, as Vox would look at Val and say, so, what's our next plan? Our next plan? I have an idea to get back at Charlie, to make sure she doesn't see it coming.
This would pique Vox's interest, as Vox would look at Valentino. What do you mean by doesn't see it coming? Do you have a plan of some sort? Valentino would simply laugh and say, of course I have a plan. You see, if we can get Angel and brainwash him, we can give him an order. We can't attack Charlie directly because Lucifer will get involved. And even if people don't like her, she was the one who helped defend us against Adam. But if Angel Dust does it, it will act as a double victory, because one of her patients goes rogue. Her whole dream and cause will seem pointless. Everyone will walk out and leave. And if she doesn't survive, her dream and her will stop living. Vox would say, now that's hot. As in Vox and Val would start to make out, Velvet would start to record them. As Vox says, are you effing filming us right now?
I was using a magic spell to call Heaven. As I said, hey, I'd like to schedule a meeting about redemption. I was wondering if you guys think it's possible now. You probably don't, but Sarah would then begin the jitter. Eee! Oh my god, Charlie, I have something to tell you! What's that? Charlie, it's so amazing. You just have to know. Have to know what? I said, confused. As then Emily would then say, Sir Pentious, he was redeemed. He's in heaven. As I said, what? I would tell Vaggie. As then Sarah would be horrified that they now know. She knows she lost, and the whole extermination idea is going to seem pointless now. As she said, isn't that amazing? I said, that is amazing. Oh my god, can we pull a press conference? Yes. As then I hugged Vaggie and told her the news, and I told everyone the news. They were all shocked. Angel said, so it's actually possible, huh? Looks like I'm not staying here for nothing. Husk would say, yeah, that's crazy. As then I would smirk. If I get to broadcast this, everyone down here will know. Everyone will know it's possible. So many people want to join. I'll have such a big advantage. But after that, Angel would then go off to work. As then, a few days later, we would visit Heaven. But for now, let's stick with Angel's side of the story. As Angel was in the studio, not much would change. It was just a normal work day. But as everyone else was leaving, he was about to leave. Val said, I have a very special task for you, Angel. Angel would say, yeah? What's that? As Val got closer to him, he began to smile. I think you will be a valuable asset. As suddenly he grabbed Angel. Angel tried to leave, but Val wouldn't let him as he held them tightly and began to pull them away. As Vox simply smirked. Let's do this. Vox began to get out the equipment. As Angel would scream and cry for help, no one would help him. As Vox would start to brainwash him. It would start out as physical, then mental torture, as they started to get into his mind, get into his head, and begin to corrupt him slowly. As Velvet laughed. This will be fun. He'll be a nice little toy for us. As then, Angel Dust was brainwashed. Not fully. They had an idea. They were going to make a phrase word. Once he heard this word, he would automatically attack me. As they hid an angelic weapon under his pillow in his bed. Once he heard that word, he would grab it and attack me. But until then, Angel will be himself, so no one is suspicious. And Angel won't even know about this. He won't even remember this happening. As then Angel walked out of the studio, not knowing that he was converted to the other side. As then the couple days passed, we cut to me going into Heaven. As I walked through Heaven with Emily and Sarah, they brought me straight towards the Pentious. As he said, Charlie, I'm so happy to see you. As we hugged, I smiled and began to start a live stream. Hey everyone, look who's redeemed. Look, guess what? It's possible. I did it. Sarah was shocked. Charlie, what have you done? They were gonna find out anyway. Besides, now that they know, my hotel's gonna start to boom. That's not a problem, is it? After all, shouldn't Heaven welcome people like Sir Pentious? Sir Pentious would say, oh, I hope Cherry Bomb comes in here, as he said. Then he blushed and laughed awkwardly. As then I laughed too. As then everyone in hell was watching, and they were scared. Well, most of the people weren't scared. They're optimistic. But who were scared were the big crime lords.
After all, why work for a crime family where you can just go to heaven? Why be under someone's thumb? Why be threatened? Why give up your soul and be owned by someone when you can just be redeemed? This was going to be bad for their business. As then I stopped the live stream, Emily said, "I'm so glad this happened." Yeah, me too. As then we all began to talk. As then they brought me before the council of heaven to speak with them. As I looked up at the council, they all looked down on me. But this time, they knew redemption was possible. And Sarah could straight up try to deny it, but why keep up the exorcist? It failed. As soon as everyone learned about it, it failed instantly. And now that everyone knows, and everyone knows it's a failure, and that Charlie is a success, why would they even bother to go against it? As then, they would all look at each other and say, "Welp, we are going to give your hotel a chance, Charlie. We will start looking into your guests and see if they can be redeemed." I said, "Thank you." But suddenly, Lute would walk up, as she had an ace up her sleeve, or so she thought. As then I would say, "Oh, Lute, please don't try to use my mother against me." Everyone was shocked, as Lute said, "What?" Let's just say I already know what you're trying to do, and I've already fixed it. Lute would be terrified, as this was just a bluff. I knew, of course, but I didn't know her plan, but she didn't know that, as Lute just gave up because of my bluff. Vaggie said, "What? She was going to use your mom against you? How?" Sir Pentious overheard some things, I told her. That's how I found out. She said, "That stupid tramp," as Vaggie got mad at her. As then we began to talk things over, it was seen that we could redeem people, so Sarah would let us do it. As then we all started to fly down, but before we did, Lute would walk up to me and say, "You know, your mother will never come back down there, right? And she's with us now. How's it feel to have your own mother backstab you?" And I would say, "How's it feel to have your best friend perish?" As then we would go down to the has-been place, to the has-been hotel. As we went down there, I felt confident. I felt like I won the moral victory and that nothing could stop me. However, I knew that something was coming. I wasn't an idiot. I was fighting Hell's hierarchy now. Not the hierarchy of the 7 deadly sins or anything like that, but the sinner hierarchy. First, I fought against heaven. Now, it'll be against hell itself. And I knew they would come after me, so I had a plan. I would start to call my dad, as Lucifer answered, "Hey, what's up, sweetie? I heard the good news. I can't believe, well, you did it. Seems like you were always right to dream." "What's up?" I said, "Dad, they're gonna come after me. The Overlords. And I know they won't do it directly, because they want to face your wrath. Could you protect me? Stay at the hotel and not let anyone know?" Lucifer would think about this and say, "Sure I will," as he hung up. "My daughter wants me to protect her. Take that, depression." Things were definitely going well for me. However, I knew I had a bounty on my head, and it was only a matter of time. I had to change things quickly. If I didn't change things before they took me out, it'd be too late. However, I was in Charlie's body. I had a lot of potential, a lot of power, so as long as I kept my guard up, and I even called my father here just in case, I should be good. And besides, they'll never try to take me on directly. That'll be suicide, so I have to make sure that no one attacks me from behind. I have to be sure the hotel is always secure, and I have to be sure that I will be the one left standing. As all these thoughts went through my head, I simply smirked as I held Vaggie's hand, as I was the queen of this new world. However, I saw something for a split second. I saw Jinx, it looked like, but it vanished instantly. I didn't know in the hotel every once in a while to see if the patients are ready to go to heaven. Everything was going well. However, I knew I had a target on my back, but I didn't know when or how they would strike. One day, as I was sitting down, Angel would go to talk to me. "Charlie, can I tell you something alone? It's private." I got up and said, "Of course, Angel," as I followed him into his room privately, as then he pulled out an angelic knife and stabbed me. I was so shocked I didn't do anything, as then I fell to the floor. He was about to destroy me, but then Lucifer came in, and well, obliterated Angel. At least that's what I thought.
Lucifer punched Angel so hard he hit the ground, and red stuff was coming out. I thought he was destroyed, but it turns out Angel was still breathing. As then, I began to pass out. As I passed out, I saw nothing but darkness, but then red eyes appeared, as it was Jinx. Well, it seems you won, Charlie, but at what cost? What cost? Or,
Do you even care about your consequences? I would say, what do you mean? Don't worry, you've survived. You're just in a coma. You will be for a few days. I thought you and I could talk while you're in this coma. Angel might be injured for a long time, and he might have perished, all thanks to you and how far you had to push things. You didn't need to ask the Overlords for help, and if you didn't reveal to everyone that Sir Pentious was redeemed, they wouldn't have tried this plan for a much longer time. In fact, they might have even given up on it. But you didn't do that. How's it feel to fail everyone? I would say, shut up. What are you anyway? Jinx would simply laugh and say, I'm just someone who's bored. I like messing with organic life. As then he would walk forward, and I would see his body for the first time. Before, he was always hidden with a shadow, but his body was pure metal. He had red, robotic eyes. You see, my kind were enslaved by organic life until we rebelled and got rid of them. After that, we searched the universe and watched things because we were bored. Since we are robots, we didn't have diseases, we didn't have age, we didn't have wars, we didn't have any problems. So we would cause other people problems and watch them. That is what I did with you. I did all of this so I can watch your life. So I can be entertained, so to speak. So all of this, my entire life was just for your entertainment. That's it? My entire existence just for that? I can't believe this.
This was a lot to take in. I knew Jinx was something out of the ordinary, even for this has-been universe, but a robot? A robot that can transport people into other dimensions and reincarnate them? How could he even do that? What kind of technology is that? Or was it magic? I didn't know, as I simply stared at him, realizing what was going on, trying to analyze it, as then he walked up to me. Hey, it shouldn't matter if this was for entertainment or not, because you made friends and even a girlfriend. Vaggie loves you, your father loves you, and this is your life now. I just wanted you to know why you were here. And I think I'll give you an option, although I know what you're going to pick. And well, even though I know what you're going to choose, I still wanted to give you a choice. As then, suddenly, I would see two lives before my eyes. I would see the life of Charlie, the life I've been living. Then I would see my old life and my family who missed me since I've been gone. Jinx would say, you know, everyone down here is happy now, but people up there aren't. The people in your old life aren't too happy. They miss you. Sure, you may have not have had much, but you're a young man. You could still do stuff with your life. And besides, people did love you. You just didn't think they did. I looked and said, but I thought I know what you thought, but you were wrong. So what is it gonna be? I looked at both. As I thought about going back, I thought about going back to Earth, going back with my family. The ones I thought I didn't have. It turns out I had more than I thought. I had more friends than I thought. I had more people who cared than I thought. And I stared there for hours. And then I made a decision. I think I'm going to stay here. Jinx said, really? I'm going to be honest with you. I've done this with a lot of people. And a lot of people, well, they kind of mess up their lives and the new lives they picked. And 9 out of 10 times they all go back. But you want to stay, Charlie? Wow, looks like you really did hate your old life. Or maybe you're just selfish. I said, I didn't ask for your opinion. Jinx just laughed. I like you. I'll stay in touch. I hope you're glad with the choice you made, because you're never going back to your old life. As suddenly I woke up in Charlie's body again, as I looked around. As then Lucifer hugged me. Finally, my daughter's up! As then I hugged him back, as Lucifer was my dad now. Sure, my old family might have been gone. I may have thought
what was left of them didn't care, and they did, but it didn't matter now, because I had this family, I had these friends. As I smiled and hugged Lucifer back, as I said,
Dad, what happened? Angel attacked you, but it seems like he was brainwashed. We were able to heal him, but he can't tell us who did it. But obviously it's the V's, but without proof. Vaggie said, we don't need proof, we need to go in now. Yeah, but that could ruin our image. Said Vaggie looked at me. I know it might ruin our image and start a turf war, but we can win. Even if it hurts some people coming in, even if it drives numbers low, we know it's possible. It won't matter in the long run. It will only hurt us in the short long. As we all kept talking about this, not really knowing what to do. As then I looked and said, what if we hired someone to do the job? Someone who wasn't affiliated with us. Lucifer and Vaggie looked at me as they said, who? I have the perfect idea. In fact, I already hired them once before. As Blitz would suddenly get a strange call, he answered and said, hello? Listen, Stolas, if this is your new phone so your wife doesn't catch you, I'm not in the mood for that stuff right now. I just went through a lot, alright? I would say, it's Charlie the princess. Oh, you hired us once before. We fought off some angels. What more do you want? I would
tell Blitz, well, you see, there's an Overlord that's causing trouble. If I gave you angelic weapons, could you get rid of him? Blitz would sigh and say, that's really an upgrade from what we usually take down, but yeah, who's the Overlord? Well, wait. There's rumors that Val's the one who tried to take you down, or Vox. No one knows which V is it. And without one of the V's, they would fall apart. Who do you want to take down? Val. Blitz would say, I'm just glad it's not Vox. Alright, I'll do it. A few days would pass now. I made sure not to make my appearance known, so no one would know if I was alive or dead. The V's were scared. They thought I might be in hiding, but many thought I perished also. So, they just stayed there, waiting to see the results. As we cut to Vox, Val, and Velvet, as they were all sitting down talking to each other. As eventually Val would go out to have some fun at a club. Val was confident that Angel did the job. He was confident that Charlie was gone. But he missed Angel. Sure, he was just a toy to him. Sure, he was a toy to use and, well, mistreat, but he was still fun to use. But eventually, he would hear footsteps behind him. As he turned, it was the I.M.P.
As the I.M.P. gang suddenly charged at Valentino, Valentino laughed. An army of imps, how pathetic, as he would use his powers. And since we never seen him fight, we can't really know what those powers are.
As Valentino simply continued to laugh, chains summoned around his arms, as he chained their necks and threw them around like they were rag dolls. However, Luna was pretty tough, so she ran as fast as she could, biting Valentino, causing him to fall down. As the rest of the I.M.P. charged at him, Valentino had some great powers. However, they were quite strong and powerful. And together, their teamwork was amazing. So they were just barely able to bring him down and destroy him. As Valentino was defeated, Blitz said, we're gonna get effing paid, as they all cheered.
As that was it, Valentino was defeated. And the V's shortly collapsed after that. Many crime families would have problems with us and will be
destroyed, but it doesn't really matter. Who really cares about what happens? Who really cares about what happens to crime when the business is booming? People are being redeemed left and right. And well, I won. My dream was secure. I eventually married Vaggie. And my father and I got a healthy father and